Hello, my name is Monty Kane, and I shall be talking about my first video into the introduction of microtransactions. Throughout the entirety of this series, we shall be talking about many articles that come out or specific events pertaining to microtransactions. So now I shall begin my first ever video. So, what are microtransactions? Well, they are kind of self-explanatory, but they are small online transactions. They usually go ahead and pertain to like $10 in within that range. Usually that's why it's called micro. Small transactions are done online, similar to a micro payment. So, where did it all begin? Well, actually, arcades. Arcades are the one of the few that actually did start the micro payment trend. You go and get a quarter, pay into the machine, go ahead and play the game. Or you get coins and play the game. Or of course now your cards. But the one thing that we all know is that they are always against you. That's how they make their money. They make your games intisively hard so that you can go ahead and pay more money, be like, oh, I just gotta get through this. I gotta get through this level and get a high score. But usually that doesn't go ahead and go well for both you and I. So, why did it change? Well, gaming. When such consoles like the Xbox 360, PlayStation, Atari, and Game Boy started coming out, video games started popping up more and more, even knockoffs, but still they were gaining a lot of traction in consideration to the beginning. Of course, the whole trend of it's like, oh, gamers, aren't understood, but there was a real love for this sort of industry. But to where it actually started, multiple sources say that it would start when Microsoft offered to do a microtransaction to kind of add a more revenue stream. And that's what microtransactions were originally for, adding a stream of revenue to the fact that usually microtransactions labeled as DLC, not paying for the game. But where did it all go wrong? Well, it's when the sales started overweighing the purpose. One of them was this: the infamous golden horse armor in Skyrim Oblivion. People were in outrage due to the fact that the price point, this really did go ahead and warrant some concerns. And then you started seeing more games start popping up with something like this, an online pass. Now, for me, I never knew this even existed. I never knew such things as this existed until one person went and made an article about the harsh reality of when these things started. And as you can see, more and more games throughout time start adding these sort of little microtransaction payments. Now, it was a bit of a weird thing to go ahead and play and actually go ahead and purchase for such thing. But as people who play Xbox, PlayStation, you would know that you have to pay like a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription to play Xbox Online or PlayStation Online. I don't remember what the actual term of it for PlayStation, but I remember it was Xbox Live or something similar to that. I don't know what's the current label of it right now. It's kind of conflicting, but there was this one of the most infamously known loot box images of Overwatch loot boxes. People say this was when the whole start of it began, when Overwatch started having a severe amount of increase in revenue because of these things. Now, I don't know how they go ahead and do it in tax form, how they go ahead and actually, gain a massive profit over these, but that's practically where it go ahead and start. But in its current state right now, as you can see, this is a unfortunately low rendered image of the loot box sort of thing in Diablo Immortal. In my research paper, I did mention Diablo Immortal, And Diablo Immortal is currently one of the most microtransaction heavy games there is currently. Now, it's hard to go and really comprehend how much this goes. But what can we do? What can we do? Well, in my own opinion, we can go ahead and start making more cases against companies in this sort of realm. Multiple articles are out there about parents losing their life savings on, let's say, Fortnite because people use the kids use their card while registering how much the money was actually worth, right? But put simply, what we can do that everyone who is a gamer talks to a politician, tells them, hey, these need to be done, and hopefully those politicians will listen. And so we have to build more and more court cases against microtransactions. More and more cases are starting to pop up, but they're not many. Not enough to go ahead and really have them be reconsidered as a gambling label. Because if that were the case, well, a lot of games would be labeled as M rated. For those who don't know, the rating system for M goes ahead and labels off making something that's adultery. Now, this could be considered gambling in that whole entire category. But I shall go and discuss that in my next video about this whole entire subject. I know this is kind of a very short video, but this is just my introduction to it. But I want to go ahead and say thank you for listening to me. And I hope through the fact that I can go ahead and continue creating more such things for you all. So, uh, goodbye.